In an era defined by relentless technological advancement and mass production, a surprising trend has emerged in American construction, a growing demand for Amish builders. This community, choosing a simpler path rooted in Anabaptist traditions, seems at odds with 21st century demands. Yet their old-fashioned ways, commitment to quality, and ingrained work ethic make their services highly sought after. Known for plain dress, horse-drawn buggies, and devotion to faith, family, and community, they value rural life, manual labor, and gelasonite, a quiet submission to God's will emphasizing humility and simplicity. This ethos is the bedrock of their building reputation, a philosophy resonating with a modern desire for authenticity, durability, and craftsmanship. Understanding the demand for Amish builders requires appreciating their core values. Lived realities passed through generations. Gelasonite, at the heart of Amish life, signifies humility and yielding to God's will, discouraging pride and fostering simplicity and functionality in their craftsmanship. Ostentation is avoided, focuses on inherent quality and utility. Family and community are cornerstones. Amish families are closely knit, working and worshiping together. This extends to a wider network of mutual support. Construction often becomes a communal affair, reinforcing bonds and transmitting skills, vividly seen in barn raisings. Underpinning this is an unwavering Christian faith and tradition. The ordinum, an unwritten code of conduct, guides daily life, promoting separation from worldly influences and adherence to tradition. Skills are honed and passed down, ensuring a continuity of craftsmanship. These values translate into a formidable work ethic. Diligence, discipline, and responsibility mark Amish labor. Idleness is discouraged. Manual labor is valued as godly and essential. Children learn practical skills early. Understanding their contributions are vital. Work is often a calling, an expression of faith and dedication. This intrinsic motivation, beyond profit, drives the consistent quality in their work. Exceptional Amish construction skill is no accident. It's the product of a learning system beginning in childhood. Formal education typically ends after 8th grade, transitioning to practical education, apprenticeship. Young Amish, especially men, from around 14 or 15, apprentice in agriculture, manufacturing, crafts, or building trades. This informal yet rigorous process involves working alongside experienced craftsmen, fathers, uncles, or community members. They absorb technical aspects, joinery, timber understanding, and unspoken nuances, work rhythm, meticulousness, and shared values. This hands-on, mentor-guided approach ensures deep skill assimilation. Preservation and refinement of skills across generations are crucial. Traditional woodworking and construction techniques, proven for efficacy and durability, are passed down. However, this respect for tradition isn't stagnation. Amish communities adapt, adopting beneficial new processes or improvements not conflicting with core values, blending age-old wisdom with contemporary efficiency. The result is a community with a remarkable concentration of master craftsmen possessing profound practical knowledge and intuitive understanding. Their expertise is embodied, born of years of practice. This talent pool significantly contributes to their ability to produce exceptional quality, from barns to custom cabinetry. The apprenticeship model fosters technical proficiency and character, integrating work ethic, responsibility, and attention to detail within family and community values. The durability and aesthetic appeal of Amish structures stem from high-quality materials and meticulous application of time-honored techniques. Amish builders are discerning, preferring solid, high-quality wood, often locally sourced hardwoods like oak, cherry, and maple, chosen for strength, longevity, and natural beauty. This means rejecting inferior materials, like particle board, in structural applications. The goal is heirloom quality items and buildings designed to last generations, reflecting stewardship, using resources wisely, and creating enduring things. Complementing superior materials is mastery of traditional joinery. Craftsmen excel at methods like mortise and tenon, dovetail, and tongue and groove joints. These techniques, refined over centuries, create exceptionally strong connections, often without nails or screws. A mortise and tenon joint, a tenon fitting into a mortise, yields a robust frame. Dovetail joints and drawers offer remarkable pull resistance. Such joinery significantly boosts structural integrity and longevity. This dedication is paired with meticulous attention to detail, from lumber selection to the precision of every cut. The Amish approach to tools is a pragmatic blend of tradition and efficiency. Hand tools are staples, but their selective use of modern technology. While many avoid the public grid, pneumatic tools, nail guns, sanders, saws, powered by diesel-generated compressed air are common. This increases efficiency without compromising separation principles. It's appropriate technology. This combination results in structures renowned for exceptional quality and strength. Beyond materials and skill, demand for Amish builders is influenced by their business conduct, integrity, reliability, and a value proposition appealing to clients seeking more than a structure. A cornerstone is unwavering integrity and honesty. Dealings are fair, transparent, and promises are fulfilled. rooted in religious beliefs and community accountability. Reputation is paramount. This integrity translates to exceptional reliability. Amish builders are known for punctuality, diligence, and completing projects as agreed. Testimonials often highlight crews arriving on time, working consistently, and exceeding expectations. This dependability contrasts with common frustrations in the wider construction industry. The Amish value proposition blends quality and potential cost-effectiveness. While quality materials and traditional techniques might suggest higher prices, simpler business structures, minimal advertising, family labor can mean competitive costs and excellent long-term value. The focus is delivering a superior product, not maximizing profit via shortcuts. Higher upfront costs can be offset by lower long-term maintenance and longevity. Pricing reflects this value. Many maintain firm prices representing true costs, with less haggling. Limited conventional advertising means growth is overwhelmingly fueled by word of mouth. A satisfied customer is the best promotion. This reliance on reputation makes consistent quality and ethical conduct essential. Trust is a pillar of their economic model. Their product and process must speak for themselves. Hiring Amish builders often transcends practicalities. Clients are drawn to attributes offering more than a structure, an investment in enduring quality, personalized solutions, and a connection to deeply held values. The most recognized appeal is the unmatched durability and longevity. Structures are crafted to last generations. High customization is another draw. Craftsmen tailor projects to client needs, adjusting layouts, incorporating unique features, or custom cabinetry. This bespoke approach ensures the product perfectly suits the user. Supporting the Amish way of life also appeals to some, a form of conscious consumerism endorsing their traditions and craftsmanship. The aesthetic appeal of Amish handcraft is undeniable. Timeless beauty in functional designs, the elegance of solid wood, and visible skilled handiwork. Clean lines and precise joinery create unique character. Ultimately, clients invest in legacy. In a transient world, an Amish-built structure represents stability, authenticity, and connection to enduring traditions. This emotional value is a powerful driver of demand. The quintessential image of Amish community and building prowess is the barn raising, a demonstration of mutual aid, communal strength, shared labor, and efficiency. When a family needs a barn, the community arrives. Men handle heavy lifting and carpentry. Guided by experienced foremen, women prepare food. Massive timber frames are assembled and hoisted, often in a single day. This event, rooted in mutual aid, strengthens social bonds. Beyond barns, Amish builders are versatile. Skills extend to residential homes, cabins, and detailed interiors. They build custom homes, traditional to modern, modular homes, and various barn styles. Unwavering integrity and reliability in business dealings build formidable trust, spread by satisfied customers. Beyond tangible benefits, there's a unique cultural appeal. In a society of speed and disposability, Amish craftsmanship offers authenticity and endurance. Customers invest in heritage, skill, and a simpler way of life. The enduring appeal reveals a seeking for tangible evidence of skill, dedication, honesty, and lasting human values. It's an investment in something built not just to stand, but to stand for something. Across the United States, Amish communities remain firmly rooted in traditional ways of life. Unlike most modern Americans, they rely on horse-drawn buggies and simple farming equipment instead of motor vehicles and mechanized tools. Today, nearly 250,000 Amish people live in about 2,000 settlements scattered across the country, with the largest populations in Pennsylvania's Lancaster County, Holmes County in Ohio, and Elkhart and LaGrange counties in Indiana. The Amish trace their origins to 18th century Anabaptists in Switzerland and southern Germany. Fleeing persecution, they migrated to North America in the mid-1700s in search of religious freedom. Over the centuries, they formed tight-knit, rural communities governed by a strict but unwritten code of conduct known as the Ordnung. This code lays out expectations for behavior and lifestyle, including bans on owning automobiles or using public electricity. In place of cars and trucks, Amish families travel using horse-drawn buggies or, in some cases, tractors equipped with steel wheels designed to limit their use to farming. These transportation choices aren't merely symbolic, they're central to Amish values. By using slower, non-motorized forms of travel, Amish communities deliberately maintain a more peaceful, communal pace of life. But this commitment to tradition also comes with practical consequences, especially when it comes to the use and maintenance of public roads. Since Amish residents don't contribute much to the gasoline tax, a major funding source for road infrastructure, questions have arisen. Who pays for the upkeep of roads worn down by horse-drawn traffic? The decision to avoid automobiles dates back to the 1920s, when Old Order Amish leaders formally rejected car ownership. Since then, the horse and buggy has remained a cornerstone of Amish mobility. Amish families use these buggies for everything from daily errands to long-distance travel within their communities. In some groups, tractors are permitted, but only if they are modified with steel cleats or lugs instead of rubber tires. This modification serves both religious and practical purposes. It discourages recreational driving and keeps tractors confined to farm-related tasks. In regions like Holmes County, Ohio, and Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, learning to drive a buggy is a rite of passage for Amish teenagers. Safety features, such as reflective triangles, lanterns, and battery-powered blinkers, are often added to buggies, especially for nighttime travel. These are seen not as luxuries, but as necessary adaptations for coexisting with modern traffic. Many younger Amish, who now work in non-farming jobs, such as carpentry or manufacturing, still rely on horse-drawn buggies for commuting. For these families, the buggy represents more than a mode of transportation. It's a statement of values. It helps preserve community ties, slows down life, and serves as a daily reminder of their commitment to simplicity. While undeniably quaint, horse-drawn transportation has a measurable impact on road infrastructure. Over time, the metal horseshoes used on buggy horses can wear grooves into pavement. In warmer months, oil and chip road surfaces become soft and vulnerable, and the constant pounding of hooves can pull up bits of material. Some horseshoes are even fitted with studs or cleats for traction, further accelerating wear. And then there's the mess. Mud and manure left by horses can create slick, hazardous conditions for cars and cyclists. A study by the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, found that potholes and surface cracks form twice as quickly on buggy-heavy roads compared to standard ones. Repairs that typically last 5 to 7 years may need to be redone in just 2 years on heavily trafficked Amish routes. The cost is not insignificant. Resurfacing a single mile of rural road damaged by buggy traffic can run about $3,000 in materials alone, not including labor or equipment. Tractors with steel wheels present another challenge. These wheels are designed to dig into fields, but do serious damage to asphalt. In 2009, Mitchell County, Iowa, banned steel wheels altogether after a $9 million road paving project suffered unexpected damage. The Iowa Supreme Court later struck down the ban, citing religious freedom and proposing that counties explore less restrictive alternatives. One neighboring county simply asked Amish families to pay repair deposits to offset damage, a solution that avoided legal conflict while still addressing the problem. Rural roads are typically funded through a combination of gasoline taxes, vehicle registration fees, state and federal grants, and local property taxes. The Amish do pay property taxes like any other landowner, and most also pay income and sales taxes on goods and services. But because they do not own motor vehicles, their gasoline consumption and corresponding contribution to fuel tax revenues is extremely limited. This has led to some friction with non-Amish neighbors, especially in areas where horse-drawn buggies are a frequent sight. As one Pennsylvania farmer put it, the Amish don't buy gas, so they're not contributing to the roads they wear down. From the Amish perspective, however, that criticism feels unfair. They argue that cars and trucks, especially heavy ones, cause far more wear and tear overall. One Amish resident in Ohio pointed out that horseshoes do gouge roads, but I still pay taxes like everyone else. Indeed, Amish communities often view such complaints as misinformed or even insulting, especially given their long-standing efforts to contribute in alternative ways. In many areas, Amish communities have responded by establishing voluntary payment systems. Since 2003, Amish church leaders in Holmes County, Ohio, have collected about $50 per buggy per year to support county road maintenance. This self-imposed buggy tax is designed to mirror the cost of vehicle registration paid by car owners. The funds are earmarked specifically for local roads and are seen as a fair exchange for services received. In other regions, similar programs have taken shape. Amish communities in Indiana and Ohio have worked with local departments of transportation to study road wear patterns, install warning signs, or add buggy lanes where needed. In 2021, Ohio received a $320,000 federal grant to research solutions for reducing buggy-related damage. Even where formal contributions aren't mandated, many Amish support the principle of paying their fair share, whether through labor, donations, or community collaboration. They've helped rebuild roads and bridges damaged by natural disasters, often volunteering their time and expertise with little fanfare. Local governments have also experimented with more formal methods of cost sharing. In Adams County, Indiana, buggies must display license plates and pay a $50 annual registration fee. Other Indiana counties have adopted similar policies under state laws that allow local discretion on buggy regulation. Illinois passed a law in 2002 permitting townships to charge up to $50 per buggy per year to help fund road maintenance. In practice, Amish families complied, though not always enthusiastically. "We'll pay the fee," said one Amish horseshoer, "but we don't like it." In Pennsylvania, several counties have proposed or passed ordinances requiring buggy registration or even special license plates. These measures are often controversial and tend to vary widely by locality. Not all states take this approach. Kentucky law, for example, explicitly exempts animal-drawn vehicles from registration and licensing requirements. As a result, Kentucky Amish buggies pay no direct road tax. This patchwork of laws highlights the delicate balance between respecting religious customs and ensuring public infrastructure is funded equitably. Despite occasional tensions, many local governments have embraced collaboration over confrontation. In Pennsylvania's Lycoming County, proposals to mandate rubber horseshoes or require manure diapers on horses were shelved after backlash from Amish communities. Instead, township officials formed a joint Amish-English committee to explore alternative solutions. This group prioritized communication and mutual respect, recognizing that harsh rules could violate religious rights and spark legal disputes. Other counties now routinely invite Amish leaders to transportation planning meetings, especially when discussing paving projects or adding safety features like buggy lanes. Ohio's Holmes County even created an Amish steering committee to coordinate with engineers and township officials. The result? A growing number of areas now treat the Amish not as obstacles, but as partners in infrastructure planning. At the heart of this issue is a simple but complicated question. How do you fairly fund public roads in communities where traditional and modern life collide? The Amish don't drive cars, but they do use roads. They don't pay gas taxes, but they do contribute in other ways. And they aren't asking to be exempt from responsibility. They're asking for equity that respects both their beliefs and the needs of broader society. From buggy registration fees to voluntary contributions and public-private partnerships, a variety of solutions are being tested across Amish country. What they all have in common is an effort to bridge the gap between old and new, between horse-drawn buggies and 18-wheelers, on the very roads that connect us all. The Amish live without grid electricity or pumps, yet they enjoy clean, running water. How? Their secret is simple physics and clever old-fashioned engineering. Using gravity, wind, muscle power, and even compressed air, Amish farmers and families devise off-grid systems to collect, store, and move water. Many Amish farms are built near natural springs or streams on hillsides. By tapping these high sources, water can flow to the house and barn under its own weight. This gravity feed system needs no pump at all, just a pipe laid downhill. When a spring bubbles out of a mountain or hill, Amish workers often capture it with a spring box or cistern at the source and run a buried pipe down to the home. As one visitor noted of an Amish home, the kitchen, bath, pantry, and washroom all had running water, courtesy of gravity from that uphill spring. Because the spring is higher than the buildings, the pressure of gravity pushes water through the pipes. Practically, this means any downhill height difference, even just a few feet, can produce noticeable flow. For example, the same farm had a spring piped into a concrete cattle trough. The continuous gravity-fed flow keeps that tub fresh and ice-free for the herd. In effect, a gravity pipeline can supply taps and troughs year-round. If the spring flow is enough, gravity alone can drive water through faucets, showerheads, or troughs with steady pressure. Any excess water is often routed by a simple overflow pipe into an animal pond or garden, so nothing is wasted. A gravity-fed system has no moving parts and uses no fuel, making it extremely reliable. It does require the source to be above the point of use, so Amish settlement choices often take elevation into account. When a stream or spring is slightly lower, they may build a small earthen dam or spring box to increase head. But at its heart, the concept is this: capture water uphill and let it flow down to the house. It's an age-old trick still found on Amish homesteads today. Not every Amish home has a convenient spring. Many depend on rainwater catchment and cisterns, large water storage tanks. Instead, a cistern is simply a sealed tank, sometimes underground, often concrete or heavy plastic, that holds collected water. Cisterns keep water clean and prevent evaporation because they're covered and closed against debris and insects. Amish roofs and gutters funnel rainwater into these tanks, storing the water for dry spells. Because Amish homes are often off-grid, gravity-fed cisterns can supply most household needs. For instance, a cistern at ground level might be pressurized by a simple hand pump inside the house, filling that cistern, by hauling buckets, or by pump, then provides an emergency supply of water during drought or outage. Indeed, one homesteader advises that a well or pump system can feed a cistern above the house, so it supplies water by gravity if the main pump fails. When properly planned, cisterns act like a savings account. They keep reserve water to make the homestead more independent and self-reliant. In short, cisterns give Amish families flexibility. By capturing rain and storing water safely, they ensure a clean water supply without relying on any outside power. Where groundwater lies deeper, Amish use hand-operated well pumps. These include simple pitcher pumps or more advanced force pumps that can pull water from dozens of feet down. In Amish country, you often see a cast iron pump with a long handle in a barn or yard. These pumps use human muscle to lift water. Each pull of a lever draws water up through a piston. The double-acting models in particular pump on both the up and down stroke, making them smooth workhorses. Such pumps require no engine or electricity, just steady cranking. They are known for durability. As one supplier notes, these manual pumps are real workhorses. The Amish use them for their farming and livestock operations. On many farms, a hand pump might be the primary water source for the barn or garden. Typically, a storage tank, even a simple barrel, holds some pumped water under pressure, so a few hand pumps can fill it quickly. Then the tap in the house or trough can be opened to use that tanked water. Sometimes Amish integrate hand pumps into home plumbing. For example, after filling a cistern or header tank, they might run a pipe to the kitchen. Rather than a pressurized faucet, some homes use a hand pump at the sink. One farm description explains, the pipes might even end up in the farmhouse kitchen. Perhaps you have seen a sink that uses a hand pump rather than a faucet. It only takes a few minutes of hand pumping to get good water pressure. In practice, that means one person pumps a handle a bit to pressurize the water line. Then someone else can draw water like normal. It's an ingenious middle ground. Just a few moments of work gives running water in the kitchen. Hand pumps are usually used for shallow or moderate depths, up to 50 to 100 feet. For deeper wells, they become harder to operate. In those cases, Amish often combine manual pumps with other methods. Nevertheless, the simple hand pump is a staple. It exemplifies Amish engineering, reliable, serviceable, and never dependent on a grid. Harnessing wind is another traditional Amish technique. Tall windmills dotting farmland are a familiar sight in some communities. These windmills, often reminiscent of old wooden farm wind pumps, rotate fan blades to drive a water pump. As one farm educational page explains, the windmill harnesses the power of the wind to bring the water up from the cistern to pipes that are above ground. In practice, a windmill is connected to a pump at its base or in a well. When the wind blows, the blades turn gears that push water upward from a well or storage tank. The history of these wind pumps goes back to the mid-1800s. Daniel Halliday patented a farm wind pump in 1854, and by 1930 there were over 600,000 of them in use across America. They fell out of favor once electric motors became cheap, but they never disappeared completely, especially off-grid. Among the Amish, many of these old-fashioned windmills remain in service. Rockridge Windmills, a modern Amish-owned company, notes that Amish windmills harness the power of the wind to pump water and have been used for centuries. In effect, a windmill can draw water continuously without fossil fuel or electricity, as long as there's a breeze. On a practical level, a windmill often pumps water into an elevated tank or cistern. Then gravity can carry it to where it's needed, fields, troughs, or house. As described earlier, any excess is overflowed to ponds or gardens. An Amish farm might have a steel air motor windmill standing next to the barn, supplying water for livestock far from the house. When windmills spin, they also agitate pond surfaces, which keep ponds healthy by oxygenating the water. So in addition to pumping, windmills help prevent mosquitoes and support fish. Windmills embody sustainable design, powered by a free natural resource with simple mechanics. Modern Amish communities still build and repair them. In fact, some villages even have Amish windmill workshops that manufacture replacement blades and towers. For the Amish, wind-powered pumps are a perfect fit. They align with values of self-reliance and stewardship of nature. Another clever no-electricity pump is the hydraulic ram pump. Invented over 200 years ago, the ram pump uses flowing water's own momentum to lift some of that water uphill. Here's how it works in principle. A flow of water from a stream or spring runs into the ram pump's inlet. When a valve suddenly slams shut, the moving water creates a pressure spike, a phenomenon called water hammer. This pressure spike forces a portion of water into an outlet pipe leading uphill. Then the valve reopens and the cycle repeats rapidly, many times per minute. Because of this repeating action, a steady trickle of water is pumped uphill to a storage tank or high trough. A hydraulic ram is surprisingly simple in design, essentially two one-way valves and sometimes a weighted valve or spring. It has no external power source other than the flowing water itself. Practical engineering explains that a ram pump lets you move water to a higher elevation with no other external source of power, only the water flowing into it. That makes it ideal for homesteads with a suitable stream. For example, if an Amish farm has a creek on the property, they might install a ram pump to lift a few gallons per minute up to a barn tank. It's elegant and only has two moving parts, so maintenance is minimal. Of course, a ram pump requires specific conditions: enough flowing water and some vertical drop at the inlet, called drive head, to power the cycle. But when those are met, the output is continuous and very low energy. Amish builders sometimes craft their own ram pumps from metal pipe and valves, following a design that dates back to the 1700s. The result: water flows uphill in remote places without a pump that eats fuel or electricity. For very deep wells or large farms, some Amish use pneumatic water systems, that is, compressed air setups that do the pumping. These systems involve a generator, usually diesel-powered, driving an air compressor and a large pressure tank to store the air. In one documented example, an Amish workshop with a 22 HP diesel engine also ran a 30-foot compressor line to a 1,000-gallon air tank. This pressurized air was used for the shop's pneumatic tools and, crucially, to run a water pump. Here's the idea. Fill up the air tank to high pressure, say 60 psi. The compressed air can then be routed down a well or into a sealed tank of water to force water out under pressure. In practice, an Amish home might have an underground cistern connected to the air tank. When the family needs water, the air pressure pushes the water up the pipe, just as if an invisible hand were pumping it. The quoted system kept the house's entire water system at about 60 psi, enough to feed faucets normally. Once the air pressure drops, they would fire up the diesel to refill the tank. While this still uses an engine and fuel to charge the air, it avoids having a motor constantly running and avoids electrical wiring. The big tank is like a battery of pressure. You only burn fuel intermittently. Amish families often run such compressors early morning or overnight to refill the tanks for the day's use. In this way, the water supply remains mostly off-grid. A forum on Amish farming described neighbors with two large propane tanks and compressors. They run the engines briefly to keep the air tanks full, powering everything from barn fans to water pumps by stored air. Pneumatic systems are one of the more industrial-sounding solutions, but to the Amish they fit the rule of keeping the home free from electrical wires. By using hydraulic or pneumatic power, they remain off the grid, even for deep well pumping. The key lesson: clever use of physics, compressing air, plus a bit of fueling still grants hands-free water on tap. In recent years, many Amish communities have begun embracing solar power for water and other needs. Solar panels can directly heat water or charge batteries for pumps. For example, solar thermal panels on a roof can warm household water for showers, a method that some Amish households use alongside with stoves. Photovoltaic (PV) panels are also increasingly common, often discreetly mounted on barns or sheds. These panels can run DC pumps, lights, fans, or even small well pumps. Some reports estimate that up to 50% of Amish homes in Pennsylvania now have solar panels. They use solar to power things like lights, fridge fans, and even well pumps without tying into a grid. One Amish blog notes that solar panels heat water and may also provide electricity for lighting and powering small appliances. This hybrid approach allows Amish families to use modern clean energy in ways that align with their values. They still avoid utility hookups, but take advantage of free sunlight. For water systems specifically, a solar-charged battery might run a small pump to lift water from a well on calm days, or a 12-volt pump could feed water from cisterns. Solar panels could also power automatic valves or UV sterilizers. While solar is technically electricity, it's generated off-grid and seen as more acceptable because it harvests God's natural energy. In any case, solar has become one more tool. It often supplements gravity and mechanical systems, rather than replacing them wholesale. The typical scenario might still involve gravity-fed cisterns and hand pumps, with solar batteries easing some chores. By now it's clear Amish water systems differ greatly from modern suburban ones. A city home usually gets water over hundreds of miles of pipeline, with electric pumps and treatment plants ensuring pressure on demand. In contrast, an Amish farm is a miniature microsupply. It often doesn't rely on the electric grid at all. Instead, it uses what the land and simple machines provide. Consider conventional versus Amish approaches. Most non-Amish well systems use electric submersible pumps in the ground and an electric pressure tank. The Amish counterpart might be a hand pump or windmill instead. A city often uses water towers for pressure. Some Amish use a tall cistern or gravity tank for the same effect. When an outage hits a city, faucets simply run dry. If an Amish generator or wind dies, there might still be water in an elevated cistern to carry on temporarily. As one off-grid often notes, storage, ponds, cisterns, tanks, provides additional supplies of water to the homestead and makes life more independent. In practical terms, the Amish pay no electric bill for water and have few moving parts to break. Their systems can run for decades with periodic maintenance. Of course, there's trade-off. More manual work, pumping by hand or starting a gas engine, and lower flow rates than a city tap. But for many Amish communities, that simplicity is a feature, not a bug. It means resilience, no dependence on faraway infrastructure, and a smaller environmental footprint. As an energy commentator observes, the Amish harness windmills and solar without compromising principles. In the end, their water systems reflect core Amish values, self-sufficiency, thrift, and harmony with nature. The engineering behind Amish water systems may seem old-fashioned, but it's ingeniously clever. From gravity-fed springs to windmills, hand pumps to hydraulic rams, and even compressed air tanks, every method works around the lack of grid power. Each system trades complexity for reliability, gravity and mechanics in place of electronics and motors. The real marvel is how these pieces fit a sustainable off-grid lifestyle. In sum, Amish water engineering reminds us that you don't always need the latest technology to solve everyday problems. A hillside spring and a few pipes can provide water for years. A wooden windmill still pumps water as reliably as it did a century ago. A hand pump and cistern give you household water with only muscle power. Even compressed air and solar panels find a role in these communities. Through it all, the guiding principles are clear. Use natural forces, minimize waste, and plan for independence. As one homesteading expert puts it, careful planning and simple storage make these systems important aids in providing an easier and more independent lifestyle. In the end, the Amish water systems we've seen are a testament to practical engineering, genius solutions born of necessity and tradition.